The government is delaying the price of agricultural emissions, a move its climate minister refuses to support.
When the policy does come in, farmers will be forced to reduce emissions in order to export their goods. Alexa Cook reports.
In the land of milk and meat, pricing emissions is controversial and complicated.
Stop the planned agricultural emissions tax and undo the legislation.
It isn't going to stop, the government announcing today it's forging ahead with pricing farming emissions.
It's really important that we now put this in place prior to the election so people know what we intend to do.
But with a bit of a delay, mandatory reporting of farm emissions will come into force at the end of 2024 instead of the beginning. Farmers will then have to pay for those emissions from the end of 2025, almost a year later than initially planned.
A price that is as low as possible but gives effect to the reduction of emissions.
However, the Climate Change Minister isn't backing it.
I don't think that it is the right system to be putting in place because there's really no assurance that we'll be able to hit our targets.
The farming sector doesn't back it either. Despite the delay, they want more time.
Look, we're pretty disappointed on the timing, to be honest, especially around the pricing side. Our sector doesn't really need another unjustified cost at this point because things are pretty tough out there.
Farmers have been working with the government for the past 5 years on this emissions plan, but say they only got 24 hours notice about today's announcement.
Enormously frustrating. I mean, this was supposed to be a partnership.
There's been a number of discussions and, of course, more recently at the field days where the Prime Minister put up what we had intended.
Nationals also frustrated, saying the emissions pricing is unfair on farmers.
If the government puts in the price that they're proposing, up to 20% of sheep and beef farms will be put out of business.
Though the Greens claim the party hasn't modelled any potential emissions reductions from its climate policies.
I don't think that their so-called plan has any credibility whatsoever.
They're incorrect.
Regardless of who's right, New Zealand needs a plan that will get us to net zero emissions by 2050. Alexa Cook, News Hub.